Roscoe. Hey Roscoe, it's Tuesday, so that's my day. As I am recording this, it is the 30th of June, and that means it is day 3 of London 2012 Olympic Games. But before we talk about day 3, let's jump back to day 1, Friday. Friday, 9 o'clock, BBC One, the opening ceremony. Directed, of course, by Danny Boyle. A budget of £27 million, and I think everyone that saw it will agree that it was pretty spectacular. Started with a camera zooming down the Thames, from the start of the Thames all the way down past villages and fields and all the bits where the Thames nothing really happens, right into the centre of London. It was going under bridges. It zoomed out, you saw the EastEnders shot, it started to play the theme music, and then it went back down, zoomed down the Thames again, finally getting to the Olympic Stadium. And when we got to the Olympic Stadium, we saw the first part of Danny Boyle's vision for the opening ceremony, which was the rural England. The inside of the stadium was completely decked out to look like the Great British countryside, with live sheep in a pen and sheepdogs chasing them around, and old school Victorian farmers in their clothes and ploughing the fields, and some old people playing cricket with a pipe. Really painted the scene of the stereotypical England that the rest of the world seems to know. But out of this peaceful, quiet countryside came the Industrial Revolution, and what Danny Boyle was doing here was he was trying to give the audience a mini history lesson of what made Britain into Great Britain. And so up rises these factories out of the ground from nowhere, and while this is happening, someone over the top is reading words by famous English writers that depict the scene of what's happening. And you see men in top hats. One of them, Isambard Kingdom Brunel, obviously from quite close to us, Roscoe, from Bristol, comes out with his famous top hat and sideburns and cigar, and he's looking at the factories that he's rising up and the industry that's starting to boom in England. As this passage continues, all the grass seems to be disappearing while muddy city workers start appearing and the farmers start clearing away, and from underneath you see this hot, what appears to be hot molten iron channeling down the stage, forming a giant ring. All these workers are hammering at the iron, really working hard on something. We're not really sure what it is, but they're working hard at this iron. And we see this giant gold ring start to float up into the sky. And as this is happening, 4 more gold rings float in from the 4 edges of the stadium, finally joining in the middle to form this giant Olympic rings, which starts showering the stage with fireworks and with sparkles. And then it just pauses for a minute, and we all just admire how Great Britain has gone from this rural countryside to this industrious superpower to now hosting the Olympic Games. And it's, I think Danny Boyle was saying, look, the Olympics are here, they're happening in London. And that's the end of the first section of the opening ceremony of the London 2012 Games. I'm definitely not one of those people that doesn't want the Olympics to happen. I'm one of those people that is very, very for the Olympics. I think it's a great thing to have in this country. I think it's an enormous honour to have it in this country. Something that I was really impressed with was the lights that every audience member had. I don't know if you saw these, but every audience member had by their seat these little panel with 4 or 5 LEDs on, and every single one in the whole stadium is connected, and they're all hooked up to a central computer system, and that computer system programs them, and it's almost like they become one massive billboard, electronic light up billboard that they can show whatever has been programmed to show. So at first, when it was the countryside island, they showed blue for the sea, and then as the London 2012 ring started to appear, they started showing other things and lighting up and flashing and doing an amazing light show. I feel like I really could talk about just the opening ceremony for a long time. I've only talked about the first section of it, and there were 2 or 3 more bits. One of my favourite bits being the bit where they celebrated the NHS, but also at the same time famous children's literature. J.K. Rowling appeared, and she read from Peter Pan, because this section was called Second Star to the Right and Straight On Till Morning, which is the directions that Peter Pan gives to Wendy from Big Ben, how to get to Never Never Land. I really do think what Danny Boyle tried to do with the opening ceremony was to take things that people know as British, but to also thank people that are British. So he thanked the NHS, and there were thank yous to the armed forces, and there were thank yous to the builders that built the Olympic Village. And then of course they lit the cauldron, and that was the London Olympic Games started. Since then there's been a few full days of events, and as it currently stands, I believe we have 2 medals. A silver in cycling, the women's road race, she got a silver in that, and we have a bronze in the swimming. However, there is of course 2 more weeks and a bit more to go. We're obviously going to win a lot more medals than we've got. I don't know about you, but I'm following this Olympics a lot. I'm really interested in it. I've never really found that much interest in sport before, but I really am keen on following the Olympics and really seeing how England do, because I think we can do well and people need to believe that we can do well. And now, just to finish, I want to talk about some of the things that Friends Far Away are getting up to now. Some of you may not be aware, if you don't follow us regularly, but we do have a Facebook page, a Twitter page and a Google Plus page, all three of the major social networks that you can follow us on. All three get updated fairly regularly by either myself or Roscoe with all the stuff that we have going on. I'll put links to those three here somewhere, I'm not sure where yet, but they should be clickable. As well as this, we now have our actual own website, which I'm going to put a link to here. On this website you can see videos that we've done, although this area of the site is still under construction. Both Roscoe and I now have blogs that we will write. I'll put links here and here for those. We both have agreed that the blogs have nothing to do with each other, so unlike the videos where there are rules and we take it in turns, the blogs are our own blogs, and so we will write when we write, and whatever we decide to write is what goes on there. So if you're interested in following the Friends Far Away brand, more content for you there. As well as this, we've started doing gameplay videos. So if you have any suggestions of things you would like to be able to buy, then send us an email, friendsfaraway1231@gmail.com, and we will see what we can do about that. Anyway, that's all from me this week. Roscoe, I'll see you on Friday. Roscoe.
Roscoe.